Hi guys, Jake Meeking here and welcome to Whiteboard Sessions number 2. Today let's have a quick recap on everything we looked at last time in the first session, which was how to build triads and quadrads from the notes of a scale using formula. A few templates as well. We're going to recap on that, we'll change the key, find out how to find the notes of that key and how to apply them to the chords. And then most importantly today we're going to take all the theory that we learned last week and today and apply it to the guitar. Simple, right? It's not really, which is a bit annoying. The guitar is tricky to apply these things to, and one fundamental thing I'll probably try and say a few times throughout this session is whenever we're building chords with 3 or 4 notes on a guitar, we're usually strumming 5 or 6 strings, therefore 5 or 6 notes, so we're usually doubling up the notes. I'll keep an eye on that, make sure I'm saying that, because it can get tricky otherwise. Alright, let's dive straight into this. Today, let's work with the key of A. And on the top here, as always, I've got just the musical alphabet, which we discussed last time, going A right the way through to a G sharp and starting again. So we're going to be using some sharps today in the key of A. The key of A has 3 sharps, spoiler alert there. Let's see how we can find them. Alright, number 1, I'm just going to start from my A and work my way through the musical alphabet with my 7 notes. So we're going to start with an A, a B, C, D, E, F, G, and that will take me back around to my A again. So my 7 notes, so let's add the A on the end there. Let's number these. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, as we're looking at that now, just for anyone who knows, we're actually looking at an A minor scale currently, because that would be the minor mode in the key of C, where there's no sharps or flats. So we need to look at this and apply our template of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, to see whereabouts our sharps are going to come in. Okay, so starting with our A, we're going to be moving a tone up to a B. Let's check that at the top here. A moves 2 semitones or a tone up to B. So yes, we can tick that off. A goes straight to B. Now B, this is where it starts to get a little tricky, right? So B does not move to a C, it's actually going to move to a C sharp. Add that on there because our B here is going to move a tone, which is going to bypass the C straight to the C sharp. Okay, so let's keep going. We've gone tone, tone, we now need to move in a semitone. So a C sharp moving in semitone is going to pop straight to D, so our D is already correct. Fantastic. D moving up a tone, add in there. It's going to take us straight to an E, correct, our E is good. Now we're going to move another tone. E goes straight to F as a semitone movement, so if we're moving in a tone, which our template instructs us to do, that F is also going to become an F sharp. Okay, keep going, we need to move another tone, and that's going to be our F sharp. Moving a tone is going to take us to our G sharp. Hope that's making sense so far. So we found the sharps in our key, because our semitone there will take us back to our root note there on an A. Okay, so the key of A is as follows. It's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. And I'm hoping that illustrated how we did that. I just wrote the alphabet from my starting notes. I want to work in the key of A today. And I worked right up my musical alphabet until I got to G, which is as high as it goes. And then we applied our template of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to see where or if we have any sharps in there. Or flats, but we're working in a sharp key today. Okay, so they're the notes we're going to work with. Let's start to build our triads and quadrads in this particular key and then add it to the guitar. Okay, so the key of A is just written up here for you guys, and it is numbered because we're going to be working with those numbers to build formula, to build our chords. Working with just 2 triads today, a major and a minor chord. Last week we looked at augmented chords and diminished chords, but to keep it simple as we're applying it to the guitar today, let's just go for a major and a minor chord, and then we'll push that onto our quadrads, major 7s, dominant 7s, and minor 7 chords, and we'll see how they work as well. So like I said, this is a quick recap on what we did last week. If you need any brushing up on this, take a look at the video last week, but we're just working with templates and formula that we are learning and now applying. So, my major triad formula we use 1st, 3rd, and 5th. We discussed that last week. Let's take a look at the notes involved there. So that would be us using an A, a C sharp, and an E. Fantastic. We'll come back to that later. Now, we discussed that when we move to a minor chord, all we've got to do is drop 1 note by flattening the 3rd. Flattening the 3rd in the key of A will give us an A, C, and E, ace. Notice 3 natural notes there, because remember the A minor scale here comes from the C major scale, no sharps or flats. Just little connections there which may help. If it doesn't, ignore it. Okay, so simple triads there to start. We'll apply that to guitar in a moment. Quadrads, gets slightly more complicated. Let's talk about our formula. We're talking about 4 notes now. We're always going to be starting with our 1, our root note, our tonic, and major 7, 1, 3, 5, and adding the 7. Kind of as instructed, I'm adding the major 7 note from the major scale. Let's put that into notes then. That's going to give us our A, C sharp for our major 3rd, an E for our 5th, and a G sharp for our 7th, our major 7th. Difference between a major 7 chord and a dominant 7 chord? Well, it's a major chord, 1, 3 and a 5 to build the triad, but now we're going to have that dominating sound, that dominant sound, by flattening the 7th degree, adding a flat 7, and that will give us an A, C sharp, and an E for a major chord, with that natural G on there to make it a dominant 7 chord. Again, we'll hear the difference in a moment when I pick up the guitar. And our minor 7, let's start with our minor triad with the flat 3 and the 5, 1 flat 3 5. And now we're going to keep the 7 flat. We discussed last time how that minor 3rd drags that minor 7 down with us, okay? So we'll call that a minor 7 when it's involved with a minor chord as opposed to a dominant 7, giving us an A, C, E, and G. Alright, I'm hoping the formula makes sense so far. If I can just push this a little further like I did last time and just say the most important thing is this guy. Remembering that 1, 3 and 5, everything builds from there. They are the building blocks of our music theory that we're working with, okay? And hopefully you can see that 1, 3 and 5 is involved throughout all of these here. We're just manipulating by flattening some of the notes. We can also sharpen some notes, which we'll do later on, and adding our 7s as well, and then manipulating those as well. Juicy. Alright, let's give it a go. Okay, so before we can start to build this on the guitar, let's take a quick look at our A major scale, our open A major scale. We'll do it in terms of notes and numbers so we can understand how to put this template into place. Right, starting with our open A string, that's our open A to fret 2 for our B, fret 4 for our C sharp. Moving on, string 4 here, our D, to fret 2 for an E, fret 4 for an F sharp, our major 7 there, which is our G sharp, on fret 1, string 3 on our G, and then fret 2 to finish back on our A. Just fret numbers here, so it's open on our A string, 2, 4, open on the D, 2, 4, first on the G, and then fret 2 to resolve. Okay, that's going to give us plenty to work with, but we are going to have to split the triads, which we do a lot of the time on guitar. So let's have a look at our 2nd octave of the scale as well, where we'd certainly be using some of the notes. So I'm starting on fret 2 on my G string here. That's my 1, which is my A, moving up to a B on fret 4, a C sharp on fret 2 on my B string, and my D on fret 3. I'm going to go for an open E string, fret 2 for my F sharp, fret 4 for my G sharp, finishing on my A. Okay, let's run through that 2nd octave one more time. Starting with fret 2 on the G string, and let's go up to a B. We can use the open B string if you prefer. To our C sharp, fret 2, fret 3, fret 5, or open, F sharp, G, and A. So that whole scale there. And that'll be all the notes we'll need. Okay, so let's build our first chord. We all know how an A major looks on guitar. That's an assumption to make, but I'm assuming if you're here listening to this tutorial right now, you'll understand this much at least. So, my A here, 3 notes. I keep banging on that we're using just 3 notes for our triads. That's totally true. On a guitar, remember, we're padding out by adding extra notes. So, if I'm strumming 5 strings from my A major chord, let's go through the notes we're using. We're using an A for our open string. I'm using an E here, which is our 5th. I'm then using 2nd fret here, which is another A, so we're padding out there by adding that extra A. So A, E, A, C sharp, and an open E string. So let's just go through that in terms of numbers. Yes, it's 1, 3, 5, but how many of each have we got? We've got 1, 5, 1, 3, 5. So really padding it out with some extra notes in there sounds great. Our open A major chord. Now, if we're to flatten the 3rd degree, let's identify the 3rd. We said the 3rd is a C sharp. I've told you C sharp is here, 2nd fret on your B string. Let's flatten that, which is going to give us our C. Our 1 flat 3 5 for our minor chord. Looks like that. Now that's quite a realization for a lot of people straight away. We play A and A minor plenty on a guitar, but when you start to look at it and you see that yes, our hand's moving around, these 2 notes, our 5th and our octave and our open string for our root, they're staying the same. All that's happening, C sharp is dropping down to a C to give us the minor chord. A major, dropping that 3rd degree to give us that minor chord. Okay, I'm hoping that's making sense so far. Now, we said we'd then look at our quadrads. Let's start with our major chords. So a major 7 chord, starting with our major. We identify we have a 1, a 5, a 1, a major 3rd, and another 5. We need to add a major 7. Now, it starts to become a little bit like a puzzle, and I don't want to be interrupting notes that I need. But however, we've just said that we've got notes that double up. We're going to add our 7th degree, which is a G sharp, right here. This is my open G string. Let's add the G sharp on fret 1 around the rest of my chord. And I get a lovely A major 7 like that. Let's just talk about the notes involved there then. So our open A, our 5th, our major 7, major 3rd, and another 5 on top. All that we've had to do there is take what we would call 8 maybe, because it's another A, another root, and I'm flattening that to a major 7. Beautiful. Let's take that further. We've discussed that our A major chord, to make it a dominant 7 chord, we flatten the 7th degree. We've just added the 7th major 7 here for our G sharp, and if we flatten that again, add a G, we get our A7 chord. You can hear the descending tones there. A major 7, the 8 becomes the 7 becomes the flat 7. Entire songs and melodies have been written around that exact descending and ascending riff. Okay, so how do we bring the minor element into that? We want to be adding in our 1 flat 3 5 and a flat 7 for a minor 7 chord. So let's take our minor chord, A minor chord. Now where can I add my minor 7? A minor 7 or a flat 7, we've just used it as a dominant 7, which is our open G string. If we remove this note here, we're just losing an 8 or another A. We don't need it, we've got one here. Taking that off gives us our minor 7 chord like that. Quick recap on those guys, well done. A major, 1 3 5. A minor, take the 3rd degree and flatten it. A minor, 1 flat 3 5. Back to our A major, 1 3 5, adding the 7th degree of our scale. G sharp, 1 3 5 and 7. Let's flatten that 7th degree to make a dominant chord. 1 3 5 flat 7, A7. Beautiful. Let's start with our A minor chord to build our minor 7. We need to add a minor 7 note. Let's count through the scale. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's flatten it for a minor 7. Add it to our minor chord. A lovely minor 7 chord like that. Nice soft jazzy minor. Okay, so let's just add in 2 more chords to the mix now. Let's add in our suspended chords or sus chords. On a guitar, great chords to play. They give a real ambiguous sound. Because essentially what you do when you suspend a chord is you take the 3rd degree away, be that a major 3rd or a minor 3rd, and therefore you're left with a chord which isn't major or minor and just kind of hangs in the mix and will allow you to change key. Great example, one of my favourite songs, especially one of my favourite Christmas songs, War Is Over by John Lennon, full of suspended chords, and it has that effect, it has that suspended effect. We'll look at that at some point, probably Christmas. Okay, so a suspended chord written like this, key of A. We would just talk about an A sus 2 or an A sus 4. Okay, let's break it down. We just look at the A part there. Like I said in last week's session, an A by itself is a major chord. So we're going to start with a 1, a 3, and a 5 as I keep hammering into you guys. And the suspended part, we take the 3rd away. So let's just do that straight away. Let's get rid of it. And it's replaced by what we're told to use, 2. So we have a 1, a 2, and a 5. Really quick recap on that. It's an A major chord, 1 3 5. We're suspending the 3rd, it's gone. We're replacing it with what we're told to replace it with, which is the 2 or the 4. So you'll notice the 2 and the 4 is just either side of that 3. We only replace it with the 2 notes either side. We can add to these chords later on as well, but I think for now, we just leave it as it is. Let's take a look at how they look on a guitar. I think the suspended element of it is actually quite visual, especially in the key of A. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at our suspended chords we've just been talking about. Let's start with our A major chord. And main thing to do here, because we're talking about suspending the third, let's just definitely identify the third, which is our C sharp right here, okay? So if we're going to suspend it, it's got to come off. If I take it off entirely, what am I adding into my scale? I'm adding an open B string. The C sharp has become a B. B in our scale is 2. So I'm suspending my third, adding the 2, giving me a 1, a 2 and a 5. Now how often have you seen or heard that beautiful chord? To add the fourth, let's take our third degree, our major third, and we need to go up a semitone to reach our D there. Let's add that into our chord. You can hear the travel of those notes. I referenced John Lennon's War Is Over earlier. You can hear that progression in there. A major, suspend the third, which is the C sharp. Take it away, add the B, the second of the scale. I have my A sus2. A major, let's suspend the third and add the fourth degree, A sus4. Beautiful! Okay, I hope that was quite a practical way to take our whiteboard theory and pop it onto your instrument, our guitar, or a piano, or anything. It doesn't really matter. Anything you're building chords on, this should work. Obviously, it does mean we need to have an understanding of what's going on the guitar, or on your piano or whatever. You've got to know where those notes lie. It's all very well understanding our theory of numbers and formula and how we use templates, but we've got to put that on the guitar. So make sure you're learning the notes on the scale, on the neck. Make sure you're learning your scales and how your chords apply to that. Really, really important. If this video helped, fantastic. Leave comments in the comment section. Talk to me. Keep the community going, and share and like and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys.